Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the NECA Toys Pacific Rim Reactor Blast Jaeger Gipsy Danger. Another slight variation to the original Jaeger Gipsy Danger. This particular one, though, doesn't have an arm, but he does have his Reactor Blast. It is recommended for ages 14 and up, and comes to us from the folks over at NECA Toys, who have really been impressing collectors with a whole slew of continually releasing more Jaegers and other Pacific Rim figures. So I'm really thrilled that NECA continues to release these. Pacific Rim's been, wow, it's been out for what, 3 years? 2 years? 2 years ago it came out, 3 years ago it came out. And it's so nice to see that NECA Toys is still continuing to release these. Now with Pacific Rim 2 on the horizon, very excited for that. Hopefully NECA will continue releasing more Jaegers as well. Spin around the back of the package, the other figures available are Reactor Blast, Gipsy Danger, which we'll have a look at today. There's also Romeo Blue, Battle at the Docks Gipsy Danger, and Horizon Brave. Coming to us all from the folks over at NECA Toys. You can go to www.necaonline.com and check out the other pieces that they are producing. That being said, Spot's going to take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at NECA Toys Pacific Rim Reactor Blast Jaeger Gipsy Danger. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Reactor Blast Jaeger Gipsy Danger is essentially the same figure that we've gotten in the past. This is probably, what, the 5th release, I think, of Gipsy Danger in one incarnation or another. The big difference, obviously, being with this one versus the other Gipsy Dangers is the arm, first of all, is missing. This one doesn't actually have an arm, but what they've replaced out with the arm is some fantastic sculpt and paint detail. The little tendons and tubes that would have connected to the arm are now exposed, as of course, again, the poor Gipsy doesn't have his arm anymore. I love this detail that they put also into the torso here, this dark wash. There's a couple of little circuits here and this little kind of gold cog, but the rest of it, though, is this kind of just this dark gray. Speaking of dark color, too, one also noticeable difference, too, with this Gipsy versus the other ones is this dark color that he's presently in. The original Gypsies would have been a more lighter version of this color, but now, because he's been battle ravaged, there's very little of him left to fight, that, you know, again, like you would have him a darker, dingier version of the original Gipsy Danger. I like that. And especially loving the fact that if you had picked up enough of these, again, there are different incarnations of Gipsy Danger, you can have him throughout the course of the movie. Pristine and lighter in color when he first is introduced in the movie, and then this near the end of the movie. He does have a couple of accessories, a couple of different things that you can add on to him as well. First things first, he does have his retractable blade. The blade, just take his arm here, there's a little peg point on the end. Can you see that? Right there. And if you move his hand out of the way, not always an easy task, but if you move his arm out of the way, his hand, there's a little slot right in there. There's not much clearing, but it's enough that you can take the blade and just peg it into place like that. And you've got the Gipsy with his bladed weapon. Odd that he didn't use this really more in more of the movie, but still, a little added attachment there. One better, which you can also do too, is take this off, and he comes with this. A projected energy blast, of course, coming from his main reactor. This is very easy to attach. You can almost even see the impression of what the arc reactor is on the actual energy projection. Take that, just kind of wiggles, kind of just snaps into place, but when you put it in, let's see if I can find, oh, there it is right there. See, when you put it in, you have to make sure it's on that, there's a little groove right there. See that groove? There's a little slot right at the top. So really, you can't twist it. You do have to line it up, and it only goes in one way. It's not the easiest. It takes a little bit of finagling, but you can take it and just peg it into place like that. And he's got the energy blast. For this, I might actually just kind of move the arms back and just kind of just pose the legs like they're kind of just lunging back as he's firing this off. It's a good look. I don't know if I would actually even display him with it, but I love the fact that NECA would include it. Just pop that off. It's a lot easier to take off no surprise there than it is to put on. But make sure when you do peg it into place that you peg it in with that groove in mind. There's a better look at the projection, by the way. It's not quite a translucent plastic. It is a little bit of orange. It gets a little clear. Let me see if I can just get Gipsy to stand here. It does get a little clearer as it gets closer to the tip, which is a nice touch. This is a more solid color, and again, this gets more translucent. And put that to the side. There's some details on the back. Again, the gold, a little bit of cranberry colored red, but a lot of this darker wash on his suit, on the main mech body. When it comes to Gipsy Danger's articulation, his head does move, but it's always been hard to kind of get in there and start adjusting with the hand, just because he always has this back collar going. I'd say his arms, but in this case it would be only just his one arm. His one arm does move forward, and you can get it to about there. So you got a lot of clearing with Gipsy. You can also move it out. This section right here is on an independent ball joint, so when you move the arm, it does allow a little bit of give on the shoulder so it doesn't block it. He does have a hinge in the elbow, swiveled wrist. He has an upper torso ball joint. Doesn't really do much movement, mind you. It moves left and right, but not really much up and down. And then finally, his legs hinge out, hinge forward and back. Double bend at the knee, and you can see how much bend he has. And finally, hinged feet, hinged toes. You know what I would really love to see with these, and maybe future releases by NECA Toys? I would love to see them release these with maybe like little display stands that have cityscapes. So that if you had them fighting, you could certainly have them fighting, but it would just kind of add to that scale when you'd be able to see like little city buildings and stuff, like, obviously not little, but, buildings on the sides of the Jaeger. So you can kind of gauge the scope of them, that, they're not a small, an actual small mech. Do I like this Gipsy? I do, a lot. While I would maybe not display him with the energy projection, I do like this battle damaged look that he has sporting on the one side. You may already have Gipsy Danger in your collection, but if you don't have this one, I would still venture out and pick him up if you can, if for nothing else than to get him with this battle damaged look. Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the NECA Toys Pacific Rim, the Reactor Blast Gipsy Danger. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more collectible and toy spots heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.